Hey guys, I'm here to do Fragment Friday and to do a one book haul. I forgot that I had got this book off of Goodreads. It came in the mail yesterday. Hearts at Stake by Alexandra Harvey. This is the first book in the Drake Chronicles. It's about a vampire, of course, so I heard some good things about it. I love the cover. And the way it smells. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and read Fragment from Hunger by Morse Kessler. Oops. There goes my bookmark. I forgot to show you guys the bookmark I bought. I just started this yesterday. I read chapter 1. I'm going to start from chapter 2, but chapter 1 basically tells you that the girl named Elizabeth was about to commit suicide. And then she heard a knock at her door, and that stopped her. And she went to answer the door, and there was a gentleman standing there with a package for her. This is all in chapter 1, so it's not a spoiler. Was standing there with a package for her. And she brought it upstairs and opened it. And it was a scale, like, you know, the justice scale. And it says in here that it was made of brass, or it was made of some kind of metal like that. And she was intrigued by it, and because of that, that's what stopped her from committing suicide. And excuse me, it says Elizabeth Lewis, 17, and no longer thinking about killing herself, holding the scales of office. Famine apparently had scales. An old-fashioned balancing device made of brass or bronze or some other metal. She had no idea what she was supposed to do with the scales, so for some reason, though, there was a note in there. I believe there was a note in there. Somehow she found out that she was famine, but she's also on Lexapro, so she thinks, too, that maybe it's the Lexapro messing with her head, so she's not really taking it seriously right now. But she does have a dream that night about a black horse and stuff. So now I'm on chapter 2. Chapter 2. Famine? Tammy said, reaching for another cookie. Like the disease? Is it a disease? I thought it's a condition, Lisa said, putting a third pan into the oven. The kitchen was heavy with the aroma of freshly baked cookies, and Lisa's growling stomach was currently duking it out with her salivary glands to see which parts of her body would be more embarrassing. She was practically foaming at the mouth as she imagined the taste of a cookie crumb nestled on her tongue, evaporating slowly as her saliva broke the bit down. But then a particularly loud whine from her middle region ruined the daydream and put the contest in the tank for her belly. Stupid body. She slammed the oven door shut and mopped a mitted hand over her brow. The blast of oven heat, though brief, had been blissful. God, she felt like she'd never be warm again. Even her turtleneck sweater wasn't enough to block away the chill. Pregnancy is a condition, Tammy said after she finished her cookie. Famine's a disease. Wouldn't that make it pestilence? No, that's like for bugs, you know, West Nile virus, black plague fleas, swine flu. Pigs aren't bugs. Same thing, Tammy insisted. Pestilence is animals. Famine is people. It's a disease. Lisa didn't want to argue, not with Tammy. She never argued with Tammy. She pulled off her oven mitts and set them on the counter, next to the mixing bowl, still a quarter full of batter. Whatever. But yeah, I was famine. I had these scales, too. You know, the old-fashioned ones, like you see in legal seals and things? Cool, I guess. When Lisa had woken up late that morning, she had looked at her nightstand, convinced she'd see a bronze balance perched there. But no, there had only been her mostly empty water glass and her small alarm clock. It is. It's ironic. Tammy was in Lisa's English lit class, where they were studying purity and satire, so she spoke from authority. You've got a sense of humor when you dream. What do you mean? You as famine? It's funny. I'm getting more milk. It's stupid is what it is, Lisa said, spooning up more cookie dough onto a baking sheet. She'd made too much, even for Tammy's appetite. She'd have to give some to James later, and a few to her father. Maybe she'd even leave some for her mom for when she returned tomorrow night. Or not. It's not like I don't care about other people, or global hunger, or anything like that. I care. She was, in fact, in 3 social awareness groups in school. Granted, her mother had strong-armed her into joining to beef up her college applications, and Lisa was a member of those groups in name only. But it still proved that she cared, at least on paper. Of course you do, Tammy said, pouring a second glass of milk. You're one of the most sensitive people I know. So why would I come up with famine? Like I said, your subconscious has a sense of humor. I mean, famine, you never eat junk food. You exercise every day. She did, multiple times per day. Lisa stood a little straighter as she slapped raw dough onto the cookie tray. That's not famine, Tammy continued. That's like the opposite of famine. You're healthy. Unbidden, Lisa remembered the last words Suzanne had said to her. Suzanne, her so-called best friend, her one-time childhood pal. Last week, Suzanne hadn't said Lisa was healthy. No, Suzanne had called her a name, basically telling her she was a mental case. You need help, Suzanne tells her. I don't. You're sick, Lisa. Don't you see that? You're crazy. Lisa clamps her hands over her ears, but that doesn't stop her from hearing the last thing Suzanne has to say. The words shaky and broken with tears. You're anorexic, Lisa. Lisa pressed her lips together, surprised by a rush of anger, as foreign as it was brief. The feeling ebbed, vanished, leaving behind a dull ache, a pang of loss. She had food issues. She knew that, but she wasn't anorexic. That was ridiculous. You're not skinny enough to be anorexic, the thin voice whispered. If you were anorexic, your belly wouldn't still poke out over the top of your jeans. Lisa imagined her fingers tracing over the curve of her abdomen, made all the more prominent by the low-rise jeans she wore. And yes, her lower belly did still poke out. Anorexics don't have muffin tops, the thin voice said. You're not anorexic. You're just fat. And she was. No matter how much weight she lost, Lisa would always be fat. She just knew it. She also knew the thought should make her feel sad or mad or, well, something. But she didn't feel anything inside, except maybe scooped out, hollow. Lisa grimaced, concentrating on scraping the last of the dough from the sides of the glass mixing bowl. Suzanne was insane, jealous. She wasn't a real friend. Not like Tammy. If my subconscious was trying to twist things around, Lisa said, wouldn't it focus on how fat I was? It wouldn't be about taking food away from other people. The very notion made Lisa shudder. Me being famine is just dumb. It was a dream, Lisa. What's the big deal? Lisa floundered, trying to properly frame her outrage. Famine hurts lots of people. Famine's a bad guy. So, some part of you sees yourself as a bad guy. Apocalyptically bad? That's crazy. Right. She was just suicidally bad. Tammy shrugged, taking her last cookie from the plate. Lisa knew it would be the last one. Tammy ate 20 cookies like clockwork unless she also spread frosting on them. Then she maxed out at 12. Lisa knew. She counted things. Part of you thinks so, Tammy said around her mouth full of chocolate chip sweetness. That's the Columbine in you. And I'm going to stop there. But yeah, so I guess it supposedly was a dream. I don't know. Chapter 1, it made it sound real. But we don't know yet why they disappeared, if it was a dream or if it wasn't a dream. So yeah, so I like that it takes place right now in present day. So I'm just excited to see where this book goes. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.